All right, today we're talking about making your first 10K with Amazon FBA. I'm gonna walk you through what I did as a beginner and some of the mistakes I made along the way so you can have the blueprint and to making your first 10K with Amazon. But make sure you pay attention. There's a lot of tools and programs out there that are really a waste of money and you don't need. And I'm gonna make sure I give you the info that you really need to save you money when you're starting and make sure that you can start making profits ASAP. So let's get into it. First things first, let's talk about the basics, what you need. You'll need either a phone or a laptop, and a laptop is heavily preferred. You can definitely grind this out with a phone, but it's going to be a lot harder. The second thing you're going to need is a label printer. This is going to be used to label all your products when you're shipping them out. I personally use a Rolo printer, which is like 180 bucks, but you can get a cheap one off Amazon for 50 bucks and it'll work the same. It needs to be a thermal printer though. The third thing you'll need is a scale. Any basic scale works. A food scale is fine. This needs to be able to weigh up to about 10 pounds. You can find a cheap one for 10 or 15 bucks. Now let's talk about software. You're going to need an Amazon Seller Central account. This is going to be the account that you'll use to actually post and sell your items on Amazon. This is a non-negotiable and something you will definitely need. You can get a free account, but they'll charge you $1 per item you ship and they'll restrict some of your activity on the platform. So I would definitely go with the Pro Merchant account, which is $40 per month. Then you're going to need Seller Amp and Keepa. Seller Amp has a 14-day free trial, and then after that it's about $28 per month for the Getting Serious plan. I recommend going with the Getting Serious plan because it's the only one that lets you scan unlimited items, and as a beginner you're going to be scanning a lot of things and looking up a lot of items to see if they're profitable, and you don't want to be limited to only 1,000 items per month. Keepa doesn't have any free trials that I'm aware of, but they are 19 euros per month, which I think works out to like $20 or $21 per month. Now as far as boxes, you can get free boxes from USPS. Wait until you find your first product. Once you make your first order, buy boxes or poly mailers that will fit the item that you're shipping. There's no sense in having a bunch of excess boxes and poly mailers that you're never going to use. So in the beginning, only buy things that you're going to need to ship out the products that you're buying. That's all the supplies you'll need to get started. So let's talk about sourcing next. Now that you got all your supplies, you're going to need to source profitable products. This is the main skill you need to learn to make money with Amazon FBA. Everything else you can sort of go through the motions or figure out from a YouTube video, but sourcing is where most beginner Amazon sellers fail at. To save you a lot of time and headache, I'm going to tell you to go ahead and start by storefront stalking. What you're going to do is open up Seller Amp. You can do this by either visiting websites like Target, selecting random items and opening up Seller Amp, or you can do this by going straight to Amazon and looking at some of the top selling items and opening up Seller Amp on there. From there, you're going to want to look at items that Amazon is not selling. So avoid the little orange tab that says AMZ. Any items that have that, stay away from as a beginner because you don't want to compete with Amazon on their price or on their shipping because they can do a much better job than you. They have a huge infrastructure. You're looking for items with a BSR, which is best sales rank of 1%. Usually you're looking for 150K sales rank or less. The closer to zero that number is, the better. You're also looking for products that sell at least 100 times per month. If they don't sell 100 times per month, usually I move on, but the bare minimum I've ever sold is items that sell 50 times per month. Next, you're going to want to look at the amount of sellers. This is called the offer count on Seller Amp. The offer count is the amount of sellers that are currently selling that item on Amazon. There's no maximum amount of offers on a listing, but my rule of thumb is make sure there's 10 times the amount of sales than there is the amount of sellers. So if your offer count is 10 offers, you want to see at least 100 sales per month. If your offer count is 8 sellers, you want to see at least 80 sales per month. If your offer count is 45 sellers, then you want to see at least 450 sales per month. Just take the amount of sellers and times it by 10. Make sure you can at least make that many sales per month. Now, once all that's in place, you're going to want to look at the max cost. The max cost is Seller Amp's way of telling you that you have to find that product for that price or cheaper to be able to make money when selling it on Amazon. So for example, if a product's max cost is $4.50 on Seller Amp, $4.50, you have to go on Google and find that product for $4.50 or cheaper. If you're having trouble finding products to start with, I suggest looking on a site called Vitacost.com. They have a pretty permanent 20% off coupon that is always on their store, and they're very friendly to new sellers when buying in bulk. A really good website for the grocery and beauty category. Now the last thing you're going to want to look at is your Keepa charts and your buy box analysis. Your Keepa charts will tell you the history of the product. You can also use free coupon extensions like Rakuten, Cooper, and Capital One Shopping to get even cheaper prices and make even more profit. A little extra tip is if you form an LLC, you can get something called a reseller's permit, and you won't have to pay sales tax on any items that you buy from stores that recognize reseller's permits like Walmart.com, HomeDepot.com, etc., etc. Now, once you find a good product to buy, you're going to want to make your first purchase. I always recommend buying 10 for your first product and just testing the waters to see how much it sells. 10 is also the amount of items that most brands require you to buy to get ungated. Now, ungating is a process that people make so complicated, but it's not. It's really easy. All you have to do is go to your Amazon Seller Central account, go to Add Products. From there, you're going to want to look up the product that you want to add, that you want to sell. You can look it up by ASIN or just type in the name. You're going to find it and click it. If all that comes up is copy listing, then you are what's called hard gated, and you will not be able to even apply to sell that product. Hard gating will go away, start making more sales on Amazon, but as a beginner seller, some brands will be hard gated, like Nike, Adidas, Neutrogena, some of the really big brands. But it doesn't mean you can't make money. Now, if a brand is not hard gated, when you're in your Amazon Seller Central account, there'll be an option to click Apply to Sell. When you click Apply to Sell, you're gonna click Request Approval, and then Amazon will tell you what they need to see from you to be able to sell that brand on Amazon. Most of the time, they just wanna see an invoice in your name with your address for a purchase of 10 or more items from that brand. Make sure your invoice is from a dependable company. The best case scenario, you got an invoice from Target, because Amazon loves Target invoices and it's really easy to get ungated with them. So once you make sure that you can get ungated in the item that you found, you're gonna wanna go ahead and buy 10 of them. You're gonna get them shipped to your house. Once they get to your house, submit your invoice to your Amazon Seller Central account until you get ungated. Your first time will most likely get denied. This because Amazon has an AI bot that looks at these applications and is really happy to just deny anything that comes through. There's been times where I've submitted applications to get ungated up to 25 times. So don't get discouraged. Keep submitting your invoices until you get ungated. Now, if you absolutely cannot get ungated from an invoice that you have, or if you can't get an invoice, you can buy 10 of the cheapest thing that Target sells from that brand. Like, for example, I was trying to get ungated in Crayola, and the store that I bought from would not give me an invoice. So I bought 10 Crayola chalks from Target, which were $1.50 each, cost me $15. Ordered them to my house, used the invoice to get ungated, returned the chalks, and then sold the rest of my Crayola inventory. Now, once your products are listed, you're gonna have to determine whether you wanna sell FBM or FBA. FBM is fulfilled by merchant, and this is where you ship out the products to the customer directly without sending the products into Amazon. I would suggest this method first, as you can make your money flip quicker and you get a hands-on feel for what it's like shipping products out to customers. I did my first $50,000 in profit all from FBM, and I would definitely suggest starting this way. But if you're gonna do FBA, all you'll need to do is bundle your shipment together and send it into Amazon via UPS, and they'll take care of the rest. And that's pretty much the blueprint for selling things on Amazon FBA. It's at least enough to get you started. Now, there's a lot of more intricacies and a lot more things I can go into detail here. So if you're looking for individual help, I run a one-on-one mentorship where I teach students how to start and scale their Amazon FBA stores. I give them the same method that I use to leave my warehouse job and scale my store to 30K per month. It's doable for anyone. I don't have a college education, and I barely finished high school. All you need is some motivation and the ability to focus on something, and I promise you can turn a small investment into a large business and scale it to however high you want to go. So there's no excuses here. I'm making this as easy as I can for you guys. 2025 is the time to start an online business. Don't miss out anymore. Sell things online, make lots of money. I'll see y'all next time.